Okay, people, the preseason for the Seahawks is officially underway, and they have opened it up, not with a win, not with a loss, but with a tie. The rare tie, although it's less rare in the preseason. And I'm pretty happy. I am definitely more happy than discouraged after watching that game. I came away from this particular game feeling like there's more to be happy about, more to be optimistic about, more to feel good about than there is to be concerned about. And it's the first preseason game. We saw very few starters. The Raiders did play their starters for not a huge chunk of the game, but for some portion of the game. And we went toe-to-toe with them, and we led almost the whole time. Didn't pull it out at the end. Again, winning and losing in the preseason doesn't matter. It's all about how you look. It's all about how things come together in terms of plans, in terms of sequences, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and trip about the fact that we kind of let it get away from us at the end there. We did, but it is the preseason. So welcome to our first post-game video of the year. I just finished doing the post-game stream over on the Bleacher Report. If you didn't catch that live, you can watch it on the app. It saves as a video on demand. I'll be going live here on YouTube within about half an hour of this video going up to talk about this game a little bit more. I know it's very late, but I'll go live for half an hour for anybody who still wants to talk about what we just saw. But from my perspective, what we just saw was mostly good because I'm thinking about that first half. At halftime, the Seahawks were up 16-3. At halftime, the Seahawks had dominated time of possession. They had won the turnover battle. They just looked like an all-around better team. And I believe, I can't prove, but we will very likely find out in the near future here that at halftime, not only did our third stringers, fourth stringers, and fifth stringers go into the game, but it also seemed to me that play calling duties got handed to assistants, and things got a lot worse on both sides of the ball. And play calling had something to do with it. Either there was some serious experimentation going on, or they handed it to somebody else who just isn't the caliber of play caller that McDonald and Kubiak are. So to me, a lot of that stuff that happened in that second half where we did give up 20 points, where the offense did mostly stall out, I look at that and I think to myself, well, that's just a bunch of players and coaches that aren't going to be doing that. We get to the regular season, we're never going to hand play calling to Carl Scott. We're never going to hand play calling to Andrew Janocko. We're never going to be leaning on fourth and fifth string offensive linemen. We'll sign guys off the street before we lean on those guys in all likelihood, even if it got really, really bad. And that first half, when we actually had some semblance of meaningful pieces of our depth chart out there, not even starters, like offensively, how many starters did we have out there? Let's start with the offense. Probably Gray Zabel's going to start. I can't imagine anything else happening. Probably Anthony Bradford. And other than that, there's not much, right? Maybe Torrey Horton ends up as a pseudo starter, but even if he's the number 3 receiver, he's not really going to be a starter. That's still going to be a part-time role in this offense with Kubiak running the show. That's how it's going to work. But to me, I liked the way our pass protection looked. There were a couple plays where Drew Lock got pressured, but for the most part, he was clean. And the times that he did get pressured, he generally did a good job making the right decision to get the ball out quickly. There seemed like there were options in the offense for him to quickly get the ball out in the event of pressure. He handled those situations, I thought, very well. I liked the way, even though the run blocking was not great, maybe that would be the one part of this game tonight from this team that I didn't love. I thought the run blocking was pretty lackluster. I think that you saw that Kubiak has tricks up his sleeve to grind out big rushing yards, or at the very least good rushing yardage, even without the benefit of good run blocking. And I'm not really singling anybody out specifically on the offensive line because they're still getting acclimated to each other. And again, it's 2 starters and 3 guys that are probably not starters anyway. But George Holani was able to find a way to a very productive game out of the backfield, even though I don't think the run blocking was very good. And that's the Kubiak effect. That's what Grubb really struggled to do. That's what Grubb could not do, and that's why Grubb lasted 1 year and got pushed out the door the morning after the season ended. And that's the main thing that stood out to me, but going beyond just that part of it, that's probably the most important part, right? Because that speaks to Kubiak and what he's doing. I really liked what I saw from Torrey Horton, 3 catches, and he had a couple others that were just inaccurate. Like he caught 1 pass falling out of bounds, no chance of landing inbounds. Drew Lock was off on it, but he still brought it in. I thought Arroyo, it wasn't big or anything, right? We didn't see a ton from him, but I really liked what he did on that one scramble drill where it looked like Drew Lock was going to whip it out of bounds, and then Arroyo got open at the last second and Lock hit him for, maybe it was only 5 or 6 or 7 yards, but it's still a play. It's better than him chucking the ball out of bounds. I really liked what I saw from, I'll say Zabel. Not that Zabel playing good surprises me that much because everything coming out of camp with him has been that he's perfectly fine. So I'm not going to act like I'm surprised by that, but I thought that he played a good game. And I'd say Holani as well, obviously. Holani's probably the standout player offensively. He had 80-plus yards and a touchdown from scrimmage. And I know that these things may not matter that much when the season starts, but these are guys that are fighting for their roster life. Not Horton, but Holani, sure. Holani is trying to fight his way to running back 3 ahead of Martinez, and he certainly had a better game than Martinez today. He is possibly trying to make the roster, period. He is quite possibly just trying to make the team now that McIntosh is out. He is possibly, if he doesn't make the team, trying to make the practice squad. These things matter, even if they only matter a tiny bit. Also really liked what I saw from Robbie Oots. I would say that Robbie Oots, I don't know how big of an actual impact he'll have on this offense, but I think fans are going to really like that guy. And I think that he's going to deliver a lot of fun this year, even if he only plays 12 to 15 snaps a game. Even if all he ever does is block, you saw the effectiveness of his game out there. You saw why he so quickly won the starting job over Brady Russell at fullback. That is the position he's meant to play, and that's why he is in the NFL right now. That's what he's doing here. And beyond that, once you got into that second half, it's hard to judge too much. I love to see Broden make a catch. I think Broden's a really fun player, hoping that he makes the practice squad. Milroe, you see the athleticism, you do. You see the speed. You see the athleticism. You see the fun stuff. Didn't see a ton with the arm. He made one really nice throw. But for the most part in the second half, a lot of those drives just got killed by penalties. A lot of those drives just kind of fizzled out for more frustrating reasons than anything too indicative of bad fundamental football, I would say. So it's really hard to judge anything from that side of things. I'd say that Jarcadia Wright looked good, but who knows if that has any chance of mattering. Maybe Wright can make the practice squad. It's dicey. It's thin. But Drew Lock, that is a guy who could play football this year. There's a decent chance Drew Lock has to play meaningful football at some point for the Seahawks this year. And watching that game, I got the sense that he is Drew Lock. He does do some bad things. He is a little indecisive at times. He did make the one bad interception, but for the most part, I thought he played well. We saw him whip out the sidearm. We saw him push it down the field a little bit. We saw him do a good job resetting his feet after getting pressured and evading it. It was the Drew Lock experience, and that's okay. That is okay. He is a backup quarterback for a reason, but I don't think you can ask much more of what you got out of Drew Lock in this game. So just to talk about the offense, when things were even slightly meaningful, I got what I needed. I got what I needed. We got a catch from Ricky White as well, by the way, late in that game, just to quickly point that out. Maybe Cody White would be one of the guys who disappointed offensively. That's a guy who is fighting for his roster life. Not overly likely to be doing any favors with his drops. Not likely to be doing much to advocate for him making the team over a guy like a Drake Young, who had a big catch tonight. Bobo had a couple catches. And then you have Ricky White, who had a catch as well and offers all that stuff on special teams. Excuse me. Defensively, again, first half, a lot of pressure, a lot of fun blitz packages. We saw a blitz from Emin Wari where he almost murdered Gino, almost buried him under the turf. We saw a blitz from DeAnthony Bell where he got a hit on, I think it was O'Connell. We saw a good amount of disruption in the backfield, really making life hard on O'Connell when he was in the game for obviously most of it, really doing a good job pushing him, really doing a good job making sure he couldn't settle down. And then in the second half, we kind of get away from that. You take out the guys like Emin Wari, who only played the one drive, really. You take out guys like even DeAnthony Bell, who I know is a backup, but he was good tonight as a safety, and he showed that despite it all, he is probably going to be meaningful as a reserve in the defensive backfield as well as a special teamer. You take even a guy like a Jamie Sheriff out. Now, that's not to say we didn't see anything great from some of the guys behind them. Like, I thought Tyreek Smith made some nice plays. J.R. Singleton had a nice play in the backfield. The other edge rush, well, Jalen Gaines obviously blocked the blocked the field goal at the end to help ice it, but it was more than that. There were a couple other edges that occasionally showed something nice, but there were a lot of plays as this game went on where Aiden O'Connell or Cam Miller just had all day in the pocket, and they also had easy outs for completions. There were a couple of plays there where it just felt like everybody was in the wrong spot. And I don't know. I can't prove it, but maybe they'll tell us eventually. It feels like they gave play calling to Carl, shoot, I want to say Carl Urban. That's obviously not his name, but Carl, you guys know who I'm talking about. The holdover from the Pete Carroll era, who's still our defensive backs coach. Sorry, having a brain fart on his first name, but Carl, I suspect, was play calling in that second half. So I'm not really worried about anything I saw there. It definitely got worse, right? Like the Raiders get the ball early in the third quarter and they just march down the field for a relatively easy touchdown after really fighting for every yard they got in that first half, the entirety of that first half. And then they score 13 points, very nearly 16, if not for a blocked field goal in the fourth quarter. It felt very different, but the only player that is likely to start for the Seahawks defense when the season starts that actually played tonight was Emin Wari. And the little bit we saw of Emin Wari, I know he got dinged up at some point. Doesn't seem like it's a big deal. I haven't heard anything negative about it. I get the sense that I get the sense that his presence is going to be felt in a big way this season after watching that. It's hard to take your eyes off of him, man. It's hard to not notice how destructive that guy can be just by being on the field because he is so big and so athletic. Drake Thomas, I kind of liked what I saw from Drake Thomas. I thought he did pretty good. I thought he made a couple nice plays. At least it's something to hold on to right now. Pat O'Connell, on the other hand, that was pretty rough. I think a lot of the plays that the Raiders made when Pat O'Connell was in the game were on the head of Pat O'Connell. I think that we probably need to do a little bit better there one way or the other. If it's Emin Wari, it's Emin Wari. If it's somebody we sign, it's somebody we sign. He just doesn't have the athleticism to hold up at that inside linebacker spot. I'm fine with Drake Thomas backing up Knight, but I think we need a better backup for Ernest Jones. That the cornerback battle starting to kind of iron itself out. I know that Josh Jobe got picked on in this game a lot. I know that some people are going to point to that, but he didn't he fought back. He fought back. And obviously the pick, he got beat really badly. It was a badly underthrown pass. I understand that part. But understand that Josh Jobe is going to be the guy who gets picked on when he's in the game most of the time because he's not as good as the other players that are going to be in the game with him. And also understand that we are at the point where Jobe really may not be playing that much. This is a reserve. And while you might look at Jobe and say, hey, look, the other team's really going at him in coverage, I would also say that sometimes he does come in with a good play. There are good moments with him. There are good periods. There are good plays. There are good sequences with him that you might not get from a lesser player. I understand he's not going to be locking down. I understand there are going to be moments where you go, wow, he just got destroyed out there. And it will happen, but I continue to think that Jobe is a decent player. And if he's your fourth cornerback, which right now it looks like he more or less is on this team, you're good. You're fine. You're awesome. I think I like what I see there. Pritchett had a great play. He had multiple great plays in this game. I'm really happy with that because Pritchett was a guy that I loved in that draft. Last year, he was terrible. So much so people didn't know if he was going to make the team or not. That was a really good game, though. He needed that. And with guys like Demarion Williams really not playing that well in this game, and Shaq Griffin missing so much time over the last couple of weeks, and of course Zy Alexander is already gone. Cam Alexander gives up the long touchdown, gets beat very badly on the go route. It seems like things are kind of clearing aside for him. And that's really about all that can be said, man. It's a good game. Special teams were okay. Kick coverage, we let up one or two kind of big ones. But Torrey Horton did what he needed to do on his 2 punt returns. He fair caught one and caught it, and the other one he actually picked up 5 yards on. He looks like he can do it. He looks comfortable. That's probably the guy at this point. Dixon had a good game. We had a blocked extra point, which is obviously frustrating because maybe it cost us the win. But realistically, that unit is still looking like it will end up being one of the better units in the league this year. Maybe it won't be top 10, but it should be more than passable on the whole. The body of work, I still want to know who the kick returner is going to be. I still don't have a good sense of that. I don't think we saw our future kick returner in this game, but that would be the one question I have. Okay. So this was all over the place, obviously, because the game just happened and we're still all gathering our thoughts. But those are my quick thoughts on this first Seahawks preseason game, 23-23 tie ball game. Let's move on to the next one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. See you guys later. Go Hawks.